So, what is going on, guys? This is Ryan here.
And this is the Ryan here.
Hey everyone, Razbowski here.
What's going on, guys? Dorko here.
And welcome back to the fourth podcast. This is the fourth episode of Theory Thursday, and there's going to be the four of us today. This episode is going to be dedicated towards the newest post on ScottGames.com, that is Nightmare Chica.
So for this first section of this podcast, we're going to be talking about what we actually see, and that is a very nightmare-fueled Chica with 3 rows of teeth.
Yes.
Yeah, she's absolutely terrifying. She's a long stretch from the Chica we know and love, the toy Chica that everybody's been writing crazy fan fictions about. But we've also got the cupcake in there as well. And not only does the cupcake look scary, but it's also got a set of teeth, which is just nightmarish in itself.
Yeah, when I first kind of saw the teeth thing, I was like, what the hell? Because it's just a cupcake.
Yeah.
And actually, I suppose in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, when it can sometimes appear to the right-hand side of your desk, it does actually have 2 teeth, doesn't it?
Yeah. I noticed that. It's pretty weird. So do you think
it is
Scott,
interesting.
Do you think Scott was hinting about it then, or not?
It makes you think, like, could there actually be some kind of animatronic suit within this thing?
Yeah,
Maybe it was just meant to just do simplistic things, but maybe there was an actual animatronic within this cupcake.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose if you're talking about it in that sense, it could maybe, you get these tiny little, like, robot things. Maybe it was always meant to open and close its mouth, or even just blink. Because it's got the eyes, maybe it was just meant to blink. And obviously, the nightmarish version of it here has got big-ass teeth.
Yeah. So we're now 3 of these Nightmare animatronics deep into these teasers. Of course, we got Freddy first, and then we got this Bonnie character, and now we've got Chica. But for me, personally, this is probably the scariest animatronic out of all of them. I just think that, the way the facial design of this animatronic looks, and just the fact that it doesn't look all that there. We've only got the one eye illuminated. It does make you think, how operational are these suits really going to be?
Yeah, see, I was thinking that, obviously, I don't know, Chica, I mean, she had a beak, for God's sake, and she only had, like, really blunt teeth in the first game, and all of a sudden she's become this nightmarish 3-rowed teeth with a cupcake that's also got teeth. It just feels like it's overly exaggerated with the fear aspect, and I think it backs up the nightmare fact to that.
Yeah, that kind of, the whole thing you're saying there about the Five Nights at Freddy's one thing looking distinctively different. I think this actually backs up the idea that these nightmare guys, if they do exist, they're pre-Five Nights at Freddy's 2, during the same sort of generation of these withered guys, because it's got more of a similar kind of appearance and design to the withered Chica than, for example, the Five Nights at Freddy's 1 Chica.
Oh, yeah,
definitely. I think it's the first generation of Foxy and Chica, because we know at some point these guys must have been introduced. Obviously, we haven't seen Nightmare Foxy yet, but a lot of people are speculating that's the next teaser. But we do know Foxy and Chica must have been introduced at some point. Whether this is the withered Foxy and Chica from Five Nights at Freddy's 2, or there was a generation before that, there's different speculations, but we have compared this Chica to the withered Chica, and the face is different, so they can't be the same. What
we can actually, I suppose, speculate on is the fact that this whole sister location thing, we constantly kind of talk about this, but if there was a sister location, one thing that I've been thinking is that throughout the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 minigames, and we experienced the death minigames, within the establishment we seem to work in, we play as, well, at least we seem to encounter this purple guy. And then, possibly in a sister location, that might be where the pink guy works, for example. And what about if the pink guy is maybe more of a danger, and he could have possibly modified these animatronics in a location we haven't yet seen?
Yeah, see, I was thinking that obviously the theory of 2, like, purple guys, or a pink guy and a purple guy, it's still up in smokes, because why would Scott create another game if there's no villain to go off, if you know what I mean? Because we know Springtrap has pretty much died. I mean, yeah, we saw him in the newspaper clippings at the end of Night 6 in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, but that doesn't really suggest that he's still alive. I mean, that could just be his head.
Is that what you think, then? Do you actually think that maybe the Springtrap perished?
Possibly. I mean, I don't know. If he does make a return, it'll be interesting to see how he would make a return, because I don't know. Because obviously if he survived a crushing of the suit, then obviously he may be able to survive a fire as well, because we've had a theory that the puppet is keeping him alive, no matter what he goes through, so... Quite possibly, yeah, he could... Well, I'm not sure.
It's still definitely up in the air. If this is the final game, and if Scott was really trying to tease a Springtrap is still around in some sort of capacity, as we saw at the end of the Nightmare Night in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, we've got to find out what happens to Springtrap. So there are still so many questions that need to be answered in this game, and he's just throwing up more questions than answers, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
With
yeah.
these nightmare animatronics, 1, why are they so scary? 2, are they real? And 3, where the hell did they come from?
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing me and other Ryan spoke about quite recently, actually. We were saying kind of, a lot of people think that this purple guy is the phone guy or something, maybe the main character, but from a standpoint of just an overall game design, it doesn't make sense why the main character of the game would be stuffed into the predecessor's suit, that is Bonnie's suit. Wouldn't he be stuffed into Freddy to almost represent his importance within the whole establishment? So it makes you think that if he is behind this, he could possibly be controlling these nightmare animatronics.
Oh god. Yeah.
Do you guys think that this game's going to be after Five Nights at Freddy's 3 or not?
Oh.
Like you said, it's about Springtrap could be back again, but I'm just thinking about the withered state of these animatronics.
Yeah,
They're always withered.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
same as Springtrap. And if this was set in 1987 or something like that, it would have to be, you know, they just look too withered to me, the same state as Springtrap to be in 1987. But if Raz said, if these are the first generation animatronics, I could see why they would be quite withered. But yeah.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It's one of those things because, you know, it's like the toy animatronics, for example. They look fairly clean, don't they? They don't look too damaged.
Yeah.
I mean,
They are.
and the withered animatronics in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, they have an explanation, the fact that they're being used for parts and services.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
But these guys, well, I suppose they kind of look damaged in a similar nature to the withered animatronics, and that was in 87. So they could well be from the same generation, or these could be in the future. I mean, I suppose a point that may back it up is the fact that they look, of course, damaged with the one eye only lit up and not the two. But once again, you know, we see Bonnie, the withered Bonnie, and it's got the missing face in Five Nights at Freddy's 2. So the question is thrown straight back up again. Is this 87 or in the future? I think that's a really important question that's still yet to be 100% confirmed. But there's an awful lot of 87 going around with these whole nightmare characters, which really questions, is it in the past or possibly the present or the future even?
Yeah.
I think it would be quite easy to set it in the future after the events of Five Nights at Freddy's 3, but have the mini-games in 1987. It would be
exactly.
simple to do that. Scott has done time skips via mini-games before, so you can do exactly the same thing in this game, and it would satisfy what happens after Five Nights at Freddy's 3, and it would satisfy what happens before it all. So I think that's the direction I'm leaning towards for this new game.
Yeah.
See,
I
was thinking that, I don't know, I think there's a huge difference between damaged and decayed, if you know what I mean. Like, obviously there'll be damage. You can see, like, for example, you saying withered Bonnie. That's actual damage to someone. Someone's actually ripped that face off. But with Springtrap and like these nightmare animatronics, it almost feels like they're not. They have been like maybe like kicked aside, you know, as their time's gone on, but like I don't know, it feels like they've just been left for a long time, and over time they've been damaged. It's not like there's, like I was saying, there's a massive difference between just like you know, smacking an animatronic maybe, and like, you know, just leaving it to accidentally kicking it every now and then, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's a good point, because it's like, you know, these withered animatronics in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, they're really damaged. Like, for example, Chica's missing her arms and things like that. But it seems like from the two images where we actually see the hands of these animatronics, they're kind of fully there. They're kind of... And they've got 5 fingers and the whole suit's still there. And it genuinely looks like they're just damaged rather than, you know, they've been scrapped or something.
Yeah.
Aging over time as opposed to stripped for parts.
Exactly,
Yeah, I think so.
So there's a big debate now as to who's going to be coming next. I think 95% of the communities accepted were expecting a Foxy animatronic, but there's a couple of things which a couple of people in the community have begun to recognise, which seems to be building up almost with these animatronics. When we first saw Freddy, we had 1 row of teeth. Now, when we saw Bonnie, there was 2. With Chica, there was 3. So, what is next?
Well, we know Foxy was originally, like, in Five Nights at Freddy's 1, he already looked like one of these nightmare animatronics. He had sharp teeth and he was all damaged and withered. So, the thought of a nightmare Foxy with maybe 4 rows of teeth, that is quite scary, because that's the only character that can run as well, pretty much.
Yeah.
If he has a similar sort of mechanic where he can either leap at you from the darkness, run at you from a distance, and if he does, even just 2 rows of teeth, he is absolutely frightening. Imagine Foxy, who already had these sharp fangs, with the length of teeth that Chica and Bonnie have. It's going to be absolutely incredible. The hook is the main thing that I'm interested in. Hooks are already scary. They're already sharp and implemented. Imagine it turns into like a hook claw, like 5-fingered hooks That would be incredible. Like
God,
a Wolverine style thing. That would be insane. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. Stop giving him ideas, Raz. Jesus.
One thing which I've actually noticed really interesting about these, really intriguing about these teasers is the way they're seeming to be presented. And I've almost noticed like a link with Five Nights at Freddy's 3. You know how we kind of had these main mascots scattered around the establishment? Well, the only animatronic that wasn't used as some kind of light source or prop was the Freddy guy, which was actually stood in the doorway, and ironically, he didn't have the lights in his eyes. And now, we had the Bonnie character who was definitely a light source in Camo 2, and then I believe in Camo 8 we had the Chica head being a light source, and of course we know the Foxy head to be a light source, so I don't know, I think it might be entwining itself within these kind of relics of maybe the Five Nights at Freddy's 1 suits, and it just it almost leaves explanation as to what these lights might be representing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was just thinking, we've recently done a video. The whole 1987 theory, are you guys familiar with this? Basically, it's 10 days after the Freddy teaser was released, we saw Bonnie. Then 9 days after that, we saw Chica. So can we expect in 8 days' time to see Foxy maybe, and then 7 days' time? That's the big question.
That's the
Golden
question,
Freddy or the puppet, But if that holds any truth, if that is going to spell out 1987, then you got to think what the teasers are going to be after that. Like, I don't know, because there's not a lot you can go off, if you know what I mean.
I was
that,
I just thought, you just said 1987 for the countdown thing.
Yeah.
Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
10, 9, 8, 7.
9,
yeah.
8. Bloody hell, I didn't even
Hey,
realise
Dorko, one more thing for you that I realised then. Ironically as well, that ends on if that does hold truth, that will be the Foxy teaser on the the Foxy teaser will come, and then the 7 days teaser to represent the 7 will come on the 31st. So that might be that the Balloon Boy with the 10 represented the month of this game's release. And then, of course, if this 1987 thing holds up truth, it'll be the 31st, which is the day of release. And now it's just whether or not this holds up truth.
Going on the point, what could possibly come after these Nightmare teasers? I was thinking potentially, because he's still got a run up to a teaser trailer and then maybe a full gameplay trailer. He could have each of these animatronics in turn appear on his site again, but as they might look in game, like not nightmarish, what they really look like, if you know what I mean. So Freddy would appear first without the little Freddles, maybe looking really new, like he looks when they first bring him onto the shop floor for the first time, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So you've got the contrast between what he looks like in Nightmare and then what he looks like to the children, maybe, or the general customers, sort of thing. So that might be another way of him doing it, or he could just bring all the animatronics back as nightmares.
Yeah, that's what I want. The main ones I want to see as nightmares are the first three, what we've got now. Foxy. I'd like to see a nightmare puppet. And I'd like to see, like, not Scott to hint it, but maybe a Nightmare Golden Freddy, but we don't know yet until the game release. Kind of like Five Nights at Freddy's 1, where we didn't know there was going to be a Golden Freddy, but then when we play the game, we might get an Easter egg of a Nightmare.
I'm kind of thinking that maybe the fifth teaser, if there is, of course, going to be a fifth, and the whole 1987 thing holds up, it might actually be Golden Freddy, just because of the simple fact of. In the Five Nights at Freddy's 3 bad ending, when the lights are actually still on in the heads, there's the fifth head in the back, and if you analyse that, it does appear to be like a second Freddy head. So is that the Golden Freddy character?
Yeah.
Also, I was thinking in Five Nights at Freddy's 1, when you put in 1987, it's Golden Freddy's jump scare, isn't it?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yes.
Precisely,
that would make sense.
That would be fantastic. Yeah, it's kind of like, it's almost like a big clash of all these hints throughout, and it's nice to see that he's given us these early hints on the website too, because it's leaving us all intrigued as to, you know, what's going on, and it's almost linking a couple of things in the past now together that we've all been speculating for a while, and it's definitely making a couple of theories seem a bit more kind of warrantable in their whole idea and concept.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. It's just so beautiful, Scott.
So, something we actually spoke about a moment ago, but we didn't actually answer, is what teasers are we definitely expecting to see next? We've spoke about the whole idea of this 1987 thing, and I keep bringing it back up, but what about if there's going to be some more teasers after showing more of the animatronics? The 1987 could link quite nicely with the 5 main mascots, but that's not to say we're going to see all these other guys coming in nightmare form or also in normal form. So, yeah, what do you guys truly expect? What animatronics do you think we will see reoccur, or what animatronics do you think we'll see as new?
Well, obviously we're going to see Foxy. That's a given because I think Five Nights at Freddy's 2 they scrapped all of the toy animatronics, didn't they? So I don't know, but obviously that's why they came back in that's why Balloon Boy came back in only hallucination form, because obviously he's been ripped apart and scrapped. So, but it would be interesting to see if someone like maybe salvaged the toy animatronics to make them look like these. Imagine like a Nightmare Toy Bonnie or a Nightmare Balloon Boy or something like that.
It's been conceptualized quite a bit, but it's not been actually...
Nightmare Mangle, Jesus Christ.
Oh,
jeez. Because in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, the heads are still in the box, so if this is a sequel, someone could have kept these parts if they survived the
thinking about it, the toy animatronics, they seem to be the only things that remained in decent condition. I mean, it almost makes me think that will we kind of see the Mangle built back up in her normal form, and will we see this original version of the female Foxy that we never saw before because it was already mangled? And these toy animatronics could hold a little bit more importance, because they were saying that they were the newest guys and that they had all this new technology, but there's not a whole lot which is really spoke about with them. It's kind of like, with the murders and things like that. No one really speculates, but, an important thing we have to remember is that these guys are still coming to kill the Night Guard, so why is that? Why do they have this kind of motive to do that if they're apparently these innocent things that, don't have much of an involvement within the storyline?
It's going to be interesting to see how Scott makes the storyline come into this new game, whether he is setting it in the past or the future. Are the children's souls still active in these things seeking revenge? Because that's, with the bad ending, that's the way it's pointing. These animatronics may be destroyed, but the children's souls aren't at peace yet. So if somebody has bought all the things from an auction, that seems to be a very important point here, which leads us to believe that it's going to be set after Five Nights at Freddy's 3. If somebody has put them back together, creating some kind of, museum or a cafe to like a cafe museum, you can go through a museum, then you get your pizza at the end of the thing or whatever. If somebody has made a replica of Freddy Fazbear thing, put the animatronics back together, does this mean the children's souls are somehow attached to the heads? Is that what this is? So when you put them back together, they're going to come active again and seek vengeance on anybody wearing a purple suit?
Well, we actually had that theory where the bad ending is the true ending to the... I think
a lot of people have started to believe that as well.
Yeah. So I mean, like we've said in previous podcasts, I believe the good ending is just completely unrealistic to to go through walls and to click posters and transport through like dimensions to get these good endings. It doesn't make any sense. So I mean, it would make sense that these souls are entrapped still, and I think if the puppets get around, then they're always going to be trapped because it's the puppet that actually put them in there. If you know what I mean, he's like the master guy. Yeah. So I think their goal would probably to be kill the puppet if they wanted to be free.
Yeah.
It all depends on if there's another, like if we do go back to the pink guy, if there is somebody else attached to the murders, not just the purple man, if there is somebody else attached to it, maybe the children's mission or vengeance hasn't been completely fulfilled yet, because I don't know anything about spirits or that, but usually if a spirit or a ghost is still in the world, then they've got unfinished business. So if the purple man is dead, or if Springtrap is still around, they can't pass on, they can't move on, they're not at peace yet, because they've still got to get rid of this evil man.
Yeah.
The problem is, what still I don't understand is that did Purple Man truly kill the children? Because in the mini games, we only see Pink Man next to these children. Purple Man's just he deactivates the animatronics and he rips them apart. We don't truly see him kill the children. And I know people are saying, "Oh, it must be the murderer because he hears Balloon Boy's voice, he goes to it." But animatronics are set to do that anyway. The animatronics are set to it, so it could be just the animatronic doing that. And I honestly think it would be a really good twist. Like, we all think it's Purple Man, but it's not.
I was thinking that, a purple guy could be working alongside the pink guy. Like, he could work at the establishment.
Yeah.
He could kind of, like, shoo off anyone who might be trying to interfere with what they're doing, maybe. That
Going back to the whole sister location thing again, where that's why we probably don't see the pink guy as much, because he's in this other location, and we've got the purple guy in the place where we are.
That's interesting.
So there we have it, guys. That's once again another episode of Theory Thursday for you all. Hopefully you did enjoy this episode. If you did, be sure to comment down below any of your thoughts on the concepts spoke about within this video.
So if you guys did enjoy this podcast, be sure to show it by liking the video. And if you're new to any of our channels, if you've only just heard of any of us, then be sure to subscribe to all of our channels.
Yeah, so thank you very much for watching the video, guys. And we'll, of course, see you on the next one on all of our channels.
Goodbye, guys. Oh, kids,
Goodbye.
always do that. Always do that. I always interrupt you when you're saying on all of our channels.